a 500 hitter on this show. Actually, he's more than that. He's been spectacular every time he comes on because he's the El Hombre who knows sports. He writes about it, and he talks about it. He's got to be ecstatic about the return of the boys of summer. Michael Bradley. How happy are you today, sir?
Yawn.
How did I know that you would be one of those detractors?
No, I'm not a detractor. I love baseball, and I love Phillies baseball. I watch every darn game. I'm trying to justify the fact that this has been such a colossal mess, and I'm trying to generate the necessary enthusiasm, right? So I'm an addict. I'll go back to it. I have to do it, but I will hate part of myself for watching.
Why?
Why? Because of what we've been put through for the past 3 months. These numbskulls have done everything they can to drive away hardcore fans like myself and to make it so that no one who's even going to say, I'm a casual baseball fan, maybe I'll take a look. No, they won't even go near it. They're going to start at, July 24th, about a week and a half before the NBA starts, a little bit before the NHL starts. NFL training camps will be underway. They botched it. They should have started it the beginning of July, had the whole month to themselves to generate enough interest, but no. The owners were trying to hold out to put the screws. It's like casino, right? When Joe Pesci's got the guy's head in the vice, don't make me be a bad guy.
Right.
That's what they wanted to do to the players. And the players are saying, we want to make you force the season on us so we can file a grievance. Next year is going to be the most joyless season ever because all we're going to be doing is sitting there waiting for this nasty labor dispute. And these morons think, here's how we'll fix it. We'll put a guy on second to start the 10th inning. What's next? 5 runs maximum per inning? Every kid plays an inning in the infield? It's ridiculous.
I agree. It's like when icing in hockey. You have to wait for the guy to go back and touch it. Then they said, all right, that's wasting time. Putting a guy on second base. I don't know if you can use it as the same equivalent, but you're right. Putting the guy on. Remember, you know who's going to be happy with this?
Who?
Happiest will be Bud Selig. Remember the Tide Baseball All-Star Game?
Yes.
This time it counts.
Yeah.
When they made the next year after the tie, when they ran out of players, it was whoever wins the All-Star Game is going to get that league's going to get home field advantage in the World Series.
Yeah, it's a crazy way to try to make things go a little faster or generate a little bit more interest. The same thing as the shootout in soccer. Now, I know you guys are not giant soccer fans.
I'm a huge soccer fan. What are you talking about?
Hold your tongue.
All right, you play 120 minutes of a World Cup final. 120 minutes. These guys are gassed, okay? They've run 9 miles. They've fallen down legitimately 18 times and faked it 27 times. And now we're going to say, penalty kicks. That's going to decide it. Oh, the drama. Play the sport. All right, if the game goes 17 innings, maybe somebody doesn't stay up. But I'll tell you what, every successive inning in an extra inning game gets more and more interesting. And here's how you fix it. What happens in hockey in overtime in the playoffs? No commercials for the entire extra period. Mm-hmm. If they play a 20-minute extra period, there's no commercials. So no commercials in extra innings. The advertisers already shot their loads. They've got what they expect. Now we're just going to play baseball. Get on with it. No commercials, nothing. Pitching changes, I don't care. Play the game.
That's a great Nicky Santoro reference that he threw in there from Casino.
I know. I
you
saw
remember that
Casino.
scene?
Yeah,
I
You
watched
made me
it the
pop
other
your
night.
left eye out of your effing head.
The only thing I like.
Protect that piece of bleep.
Right. The only part.
Charlie A. I think.
My
he said.
favorite part of the movie is the fact that Pesci just kept calling everybody greaseballs.
Yeah, well, right.
Instead of
Pesci
grease
does
balls,
that.
it's greaseballs. And I agree, that's the way it should be used. Like Andrew Cuomo, greaseballs. His brother Fredo, greaseballs. That's what they are. Continue on.
Anyway.
He's on a roll.
I'll watch the games, but I'll hate myself even more than I usually do.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. I'll hate myself in the morning.
Well, don't you think that the second base guy on second base to start extra innings is just a hokey joke?
Of course.
But
that's
really.
what baseball is going to become a joke because they think that by making all of these compromises that they're going to attract kids, and they're not. Mm-hmm. Young people have gone. They're not going to. The romance of baseball, the idea of saying, as George Will used to say, it was either Will or Boswell, the most perfect thing in all of the world is the 90 feet between home plate and first base. That kind of romanticism does not exist for today's generation, for whom tradition is what they had for lunch. So you're not going to be able to talk about America has been like baseball. America's been like a steamroller, knocked down and built again. The only constant is baseball. They most definitely will come, Ray. They will come. That doesn't matter to these guys.
By the way, that is the worst James Earl Jones impersonation.
I do
It sounded
better.
like it was like a combination of Arnold Schwarzenegger and somebody else.
Yeah, that was pretty
That didn't
bad.
sound at all
right,
like
let me
James
try
Earl
I'm
again.
looking at
Let me-
Tony like, what the hell's he doing?
Let me slow down. Let me
All right, go
slow
ahead.
down. The only constant has been baseball. How's that? Is that better?
No, you sound like Rick Moranis and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
For crying out loud. Good Lord.
All right, enough about baseball. We'll have Larry Boa to break it down scientifically.
Phillies, 31.5.
Oh,
over
yeah,
under,
over
Mike.
under on the run on the win totals.
31.5.
I'm going under.
Yeah, me too.
They got too many good teams to play, and they're not ready to. This franchise is the worst kind of franchise to go into this. Okay, They spend too much time contemplating their navels and not enough time just going out and letting it rip. I think the best thing that could happen to those of us who are mad at baseball is a Tigers-Marlins World Series. I think that would be tremendous.
That would
We
be
had
pretty
somebody
great.
already text us on the Twitch stream saying, "Mark it down. Miami Marlins win the World Series."
Wow.
Wouldn't
That
that,
would be great.
And then they would break up the team
Right.
immediately
Of course,
thereafter.
they break up a piece of garbage team and have to get hot for 2 months.
And then there'd be a COVID during the World Series. There's a COVID second wave, and they can't play the World Series, so there's no champion at the end. How great would that be?
It's going to be unbelievable. Look, I teach at a university here on the Philadelphia Main Line, and we're supposed to go back August 17th and go till November 24th. And to me, the chances of that all happening are very slim. So college sports are going to be at risk because campuses are going to shut down. I predict by the beginning of November you'll have about a third of the college football games on any given Saturday being played. People don't realize this. If you go back and look at the newspaper accounts from 1918 during the influenza epidemic, you would see the teams are like arranging games on the fly. Like on Tuesday, Michigan to play Albion on Saturday because they couldn't guarantee who was still open and who could field a team. You're going to see stuff like that.
I didn't see that on Twitter when I was back there in 1918.
Well, that wasn't bad. That wasn't on Twitter. It was on MySpace. It was different.
I think Michigan can handle Albion, though.
I don't know.
They could.
I don't know about that.
I'll get you a score on that, Harry. But and more importantly, whether they cover.
What's the line?
Yeah. So the thing about it is, it's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, you got the nitwit over there in Serbia or whatever, holding tennis tournaments with no social distancing, going out to the club afterwards, and everybody gets COVID, and nobody understands why.
Well, you got the Joker and Djokovic. They were both at the same party.
Were they really?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
Yes.
Jokic and the Joker.
Djokovic were both at the same shirtless party with a bunch of hot Serbian chicks.
Well, hey, it's
Yeah,
worth
and
it. It's
there's
worth
nothing
it.
You know, you got. Hey, they're not going to die.
Hey, you're not going to
take
die,
a
Mike.
chance.
I'll get the COVID to hang out with a couple of those
you got to take a
chicks.
chance.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
That's the thing. Nobody's going to get COVID from the sport. They're going to get COVID from everything that surrounds the sport.
No, there are worse things flying around in Serbia than the COVID.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
We're talking with Michael Bradley, better known as
El Hombre.
El Hombre. Even though he is not a bad hombre, will we have to cancel you for calling yourself the Hombre now? Because I don't know. I don't know.
Does the
anymore.
hombre carry guns?
Yes, exactly.
No?
No. My hands are registered as lethal weapons. I don't need them.
Well,
Meanwhile,
Michael, were you as scared as I
Ask
was?
any woman I've ever been with.
Were you as nervous as I was about 2 hours ago when you found out that the PGA Tour commissioner was heading to Hartford for a press conference?
Yeah.
And there'd been a bunch of caddies and a couple of players over the last couple of days get the COVID?
Yeah, I was worried because when I saw that, I thought, oh, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. And fortunately, I think we're playing the tourney, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm about to go out and commit golf over 9 holes after this, so that's why I'm a little agitated. I've not been playing well lately, and so then I got to deal with you guys, then go out and do that. So
what are you talking about? I haven't played in years. You hear me complaining about it? You and Harry, oh my God, nobody's going to be able to play golf anymore.
Well, if
It's been a lot of fun.
They did 2,757 tests in the last 3 weeks, and they have 7 total positives.
That's a quarter of 1%.
Exactly.
Hey, look, I'm happy. I'm rooting for I'm rooting for
I don't want you to be one of those
get
guys
it.
that cancel everything. There's all these cancel everything guys out there.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to cancel this stuff. The problem is what happens. You've got how many universities with how many students, with how many faculty members, with how many pre-existing conditions, with how many people serving dinner at the frickin' cafeteria. Something bad's going to happen, and now we're going to test our tolerance for that. That's all I'm saying. There's going to be some people that have to make some really tough decisions at the top of the university hierarchies, and I don't know what's going to happen. The NFL, they're going to play. Players could be dropping dead on the field, and they're just going to scrape them up with a snow shovel and bring somebody else out because they want the money.
Just get the John Deere out there, as Buddy Ryan used to say. Just bring the John Deere out, clear
No
the
doubt.
field, and let's run the next play, boys. Let's run it
doubt.
right. Let's matriculate the ball right down the field,
They
boys.
did that in that New
62
England-Miami
car
game.
trap. Woo-hoo. Ha, ha, ha. What a dementor. What did I tell you?
Goes to Hank Stram. So he's done Hank Stram,
A very bad James Earl
Earl
Jones.
Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's statue in Columbus,
And Joe
Ohio,
Pesci.
was defaced in front of the convention center in Columbus, Ohio. Your thoughts?
Why is there a Schwarzenegger statue in the worst place on earth?
Well, it's not the worst.
Well,
place
he's
on
a
earth.
Michigan guy.
I know that. Because this his that's where he won his Mr. Olympia, whatever the hell he won back in the day.
1970.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's an annual Arnold weightlifting competition. You got to bring your own steroids, though. They don't provide them for you. Yes.
You inject right first. You have to inject yourself before you lift in public to prove that you're on it. I was an Arnold fan, but I also liked Franco Columbu.
Oh, Franco Columbu was the man.
Exactly.
That's great Franco Columbu knowledge right there.
They
people know that.
They also defaced Stevie Ray Vaughan's statue down in Austin, Mike.
What?
Yes.
And he even had the guitar in his
I know.
It wasn't like he looked like a Confederate general, which
No.
he did. The guitar is right there on the
Fender Strat.
Exactly.
What, they didn't like they didn't like his music? I mean, come on, he's master bluesman.
I know.
No, the morons who are taking down statues have no idea what they're even doing.
By the
they're
way-
the sheep being told to go do it.
Well, they even
By the
took down
way,
a statue of an abolitionist who actually
Freed slaves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have
By
no
the way,
idea.
speaking of weightlifting, I found this out not long ago. Vasily Alexiev, the Russian giant Ironman, used to get paid for every world record he would set. So every time he would set a record, he'd do it by like a pound because he never wanted to lift his max so that he wouldn't get paid anymore.
Right.
So you never really knew how much Alexiev could lift because he just kept going up a little bit and a little bit. So there's good Vasily Alexiev.
That is tremendous.
Wow.
Now, by the way, I have breaking news from the most trusted source of news, the Babylon Bee. This just in: cities are now protecting statues by disguising them as Karl Marx. So that's the only way you keep these statues from coming down, and that's why I'm one of the 54 people. That's the highlight of my life, and this week especially, I'm one of 54 people being followed by the Babylon Bee, the most trusted name in sports and news satire.
That's pretty good. Now, I'll tell you this. If they really want to disguise it, do it as Friedrich Engels, because nobody knows who he is. Everybody knows about Marx, but they don't know Engels.
Well, there is a Lenin statue in Seattle. A guy owns it on his private property, and nobody's touched that.
Not John
Lennon?
Lennon.
No,
Not
no,
John
Vladimir Lenin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vladimir Lenin statue in Seattle, untouched. Everything else has got to come down.
All right, I'll send some money to a charity of your choice if you can tell me Vladimir Lenin's real name.
Well, people have sent me pictures saying that I looked like Vladimir Lenin at one point. Somebody
On a
even
jag,
sent me
maybe.
a banner. I'm not kidding. Years ago, before all this communism stuff wasn't cool, people sent me a banner from Pier 53 in San Francisco of Vladimir Lenin with the. I should hang that up in the back here. I'll get a lot more views that way. People will think I'm like a new communist
By the
nation
way,
station.
I'm
Yes.
cheating, but here we go. Vladimir Ilyich
Ulanov.
Ulyanov.
Ulanov.
Yeah, very
Ulanov.
well done, Robin. Yes, we have Vladimir Ilyich Ulanov. Yes.
Exactly right. Where did they get Lenin out of that?
I don't know what that means in Russian. It probably means kill everybody.
Probably means vodka.
My Russian's a little
vodka.
rusty.
More vodka for all. Vladimir
Exactly.
for everybody in the house.
It looks
Oh,
like
yeah, the worst vodka ever.
Exactly.
next to Popov. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
Popov vodka, and Harry knows Vladimir and Popov was it's on the bottom shelf.
Yep.
You got to get down there to get it, but when you're in college, that's what you need.
And Nikolai. That was another
Nikolai,
one.
yeah, that's the trio, the holy trio.
It's funny that they name the worst vodka after Russian dictators.
Exactly.
And people college kids buy it. Not because they like Russian dictators, but because it's cheap.
Right.
And it sounds good.
And if you drop the bottle, no
Nobody
problem.
breaks. By the way, I got to
Right,
ask you this story now, the big story. The governors of New Jersey, New York,
Yeah.
and Connecticut are now requiring visitors from 9 states to self-quarantine for 14 days before they are allowed into New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. So I'm going to ask you, Michael Bradley, a man who knows all as El Hombre, how are they going to determine who's from Utah, Arkansas, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Washington State, Utah, Texas, and Alabama and Arizona? How are they going to know?
Some of them it'll be easy, an IQ test. They'll eliminate themselves right away. Some of those states. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. I mean, you show up. What are you going to do? Get another car? What happens if you're driving a rental car? They always have Florida plates on
Exactly.
them. You're from Minnesota or something like that. So
Right.
I don't know. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
because
tough
toll
to do.
collectors, that's one thing another job toll collectors want to be responsible for.
Yeah.
Can I see your ID, sir?
Yeah,
What about if you have an
Joey-
easy pass and you just blow right through?
That's what I do.
And you're going into New
Joey
York.
from Mawa is going to be sitting there. I saw a great thing the other day. It said if Sonny Corleone had an easy pass, he'd be playing bocce right now.
Everything's a mafia
I
reference
love
to
it.
you.
I love
Why
it.
not?
Everything's a mafia reference.
So great.
It's funny. You watch the Godfather 1 and 2, and God help me, I've watched 3 enough times to know that it's probably one of the worst movies ever.
Yes.
But you got to wait till the very end for the best line. Forget leave the gun, take the cannolis. The best line is when Sonny Corleone, at the end of it, when they're sitting there waiting for Vito allegedly to come in on his birthday, to say, nerve of those, bombing us on Pop's birthday, and Fredo says, they didn't know it was Pop's birthday. It's a very underrated line when he's talking about the Japanese not knowing it's Pop's birthday on Pearl Harbor Day.
I have breaking news on Lenin. We can clear up now the Lenin controversy. Lenin was not his real name, as we've determined. Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. He tried out a number of pseudonyms, including K. Tulin, K, the letter K, Tulin, Petrov, and he finally settled on Lenin, many people believe, because of the Lena River, which was nearby. And now
In Siberia.
In Siberia, yes. How about that?
And the other thing, before he said Lenin, because of that river, he was first going to be Vladimir Lena Horn, but they thought that was a little too long.
And by the way, other Russian revolutionaries used pseudonyms like to confuse the authorities. Joseph Stalin's birth name.
Koba.
What was his name?
Koba, K-O-B-A.
No, it was Losif.
Yosef.
No, but it's the way it's spelled.
I know,
in
but
Russian.
that's a Russian thing. Yosef Zugashvili.
That's his real name. That's
Yes.
not a pseudonym. His real name is Yugashvili. He's a Georgian.
Yes.
Yes. And Leon Trotsky was Lev Bronstein.
And he owned a club up in New York.
Trotsky was a hell of a left winger.
Yes, he was. I
Yeah,
love
he
that
was
guy.
a big-time left winger.
Especially on those Islander teams back in
Right.
the 80s that won the 5 cups. That's some solid hockey action and knowledge right there.
He was an off wing.
Yes.
He's the off.
It was the real left wing.
Right.
That was back when the NHL was using the left wing lock. Remember
He
that?
was on the
With the
other side of
Devils.
the board.
With
Yeah.
the Devils,
So far left.
which was an era where hockey was unwatchable.
Yes.
As the Islanders and the Devils did the left wing lock.
Think about it. We went from Gretzky's era, where where games were like 9-7, to the left wing lock, where it was 1-0 if we were lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's better now, but there were fights back then, so you had to give up something else to get a little more offense.
Exactly.
Hey.
And Barry Trotz, by the way, not related to either guy, was a pretty good coach.
pretty
too,
darn good.
As we talk about the great Russians from the days gone by.
Yeah, what are the 2 cities you think the NHL decides on?
The hub cities.
I have no idea. I think Vegas will be one, simply because there's so much hotel inventory available.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't tell you where the other one will be. Where are they even considering? I know they're knocking them off. They got rid of the worst place on earth, so that's not going to
Columbus,
be there.
Ohio again?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The worst. The horrible people from there.
They're saying
I don't know where.
maybe one will be in Canada.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But Canada's not letting anybody in from America.
Exactly. I don't know how they're going to do that. I think they're just trying to make them feel good because it's their sport, and they're going like, "Wait, you were in the finals,
right?
Hey, Toronto, we really had you in that Final Four."
I thought it was Flin Flon.
Flin Flon, Alberta, the home of Bobby Clark, as you well remember.
Right.
Yeah.
The great Bobby Clark. All right, that's enough about this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Check him out.
El Hombre Knows Sports.
And where do we get that quality written material that you put together every single week?
I have no idea. I don't know. I was doing it because there was nothing to write about. Now I'm doing so much college basketball. I'm previewing, and I'm not exaggerating, 72 college basketball teams this year. and
dude.
ranging everything from the MEAC to the Big Ten to the Big East. It's going to be brutal. I'm pounding these things out every day. It's tough. So I think El Hombre is going to go on hiatus for a little bit.
Well, the
Adding a
links
2-week
to
quarter-
everything you can find on @DailyHombre.
At Daily Hombre on Twitter.
Yeah, you got to go on Twitter. And somebody from Seattle, they love me in Seattle, asked me if they named the Seattle hockey team the Mean Machine, would I be happy? And I said only if their uniforms looked like the Mean Machine, the first longest yard, and secondly if their mascot was Paul Wrecking Crew, the Burt Reynolds character.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Are they listening to you in the chop out there in Seattle?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all they listen to.
Why do you think
I'm
they're
on an
shooting
endless
each
loop.
other? Why do you think they have to shut it down? Because there's gunshots every day.
I'm on an endless loop in the chop.
Oh, my
Anarchy
God.
is a bitch, man. I mean, this was the shortest socialism experiment in history, I think.
Anarchy in the UK. Just remember, Sex Pistols.
There you go.
Exactly
Have a good
right.
round.
There he is,
I
Michael
hope so.
Bradley. He's all
So long,
fired up
suckers.
now. He's ready to
He's going to
crank
the
that
first tee.
driver about 320 feet. Coming right back. Open lines, 215-462-TONY, 215-462-8669. Some great strapper lines. And Jose
Next.
still ahead. He's coming up next. That's right.